I just thought it would be good to put my face out there and say hi, mostly because we've had so much support. We launched EasyGeorgian now about 2 months ago, almost. And there have been so many people who are already improving their Georgian and letting us know how much they appreciate the courses and the app. And we love it. We love your support. We're so appreciative to have you guys on board. And yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, what EasyGeorgian is and why we built it. And, I moved to Georgia 5 years ago. Didn't really speak much Georgian when I first arrived for a while. And then obviously, like most people realized, you gotta learn this language. And found that the tools that I used to use when I'm learning languages, they simply don't exist for Georgian. I'm lazy in a weird kind of way because I will refuse to feel like I'm back in school and try to come up with something more efficient and then accidentally end up spending 2 years and so many hours actually building that thing. Whereas, ironically, if I'd spent that time learning, probably would have learned more. But basically what has happened is my Georgian wife, Tamar, and we've built EasyGeorgian. And it was built at first because I needed it. And, again, I spoke Danish and English growing up, learned German in school, learned Spanish and Russian through these modern methods, and now took on Georgian. And I feel like I know exactly what I need to learn a language. And if I don't have it, I get so annoyed and so frustrated because I've felt the difference between sitting in that classroom learning German and then the speed at which I've learned things like Spanish and Russian. And I simply refuse to waste time like that. So obviously I did try some teachers. It was a frustrating period. These teachers they're kind, they're great in many ways, but when you sit with that notebook and you're writing by hand and they want you to review things in a notebook and they take out their grammar tables and most of the lesson is spent in English explaining that grammar. If you don't know any better, you might think that's how learning languages are and should be, but I am here to tell you that things don't have to be that way. And now finally for Georgian, they don't. There are these ingredients that go into a modern language course. They might sound like gibberish to you, but it's things like comprehensible input, core vocabulary, spaced repetition, active recall. They sound a little bit, academic, but really what they mean in practice is you learn the most important words that you actually will use. You learn in a way that's optimized for prompting your brain to continually remember something. It's things like, like active recall. So you don't just review things on a piece of paper and you feel like you're studying, but you actually are forcing your brain, basically prompting it to recall things. For anyone who hasn't tried modern tools, they might not realize the benefits of all this, but for any one of you out there who have learned other languages using Duolingo, Pimsleur, Memrise, whatever all the other ones are, you know what a difference they make. And I'm here to tell all of you that not only did we build an equivalent for EasyGeorgian, but we actually built the best of all of them. You have the active recall audio course that gets you speaking super quickly and you don't need to learn to write beforehand. We have the flashcards that not only use the best of Anki and their spaced repetition algorithm, but also Memrise and their review mode. So you can choose to write, you can choose to self-review, you can choose the multiple choice kind of Duolingo style. And you basically get the best of all worlds. And finally, we have this podcast course, which is the basically main idea is comprehensible input. It's the idea that you can sit, listen, read content that is a little bit interesting, but most importantly, it's just you listening and you passively acquire a language because it's built in a way where it's only a little bit more complicated than one you already know. And so you learn everything through context. This is how babies learn. It's how you learned as a child. And, even though we're adults. We don't need to learn in a different way. You can actually acquire a language passively. It's a lot more fun this way. It's a lot less stressful, less frustrating. And that's what EasyGeorgian is. And this is a passion project, I'll be honest. It's taken a lot of hours. It's going to take more hours because I have so many ideas I wanna implement. But it's available to all of you. And, I think personally that this is the goal of EasyGeorgian. I think we'll see a lot more foreigners in Georgia actually speak Georgian in the future. And that's great for many reasons. I think if you're like me out there, you're making Georgia a home for the long run. Maybe not permanently, but for a long enough while that it's worth it to try to connect more with the country. And the language is the gate. It can be something as silly as that taxi ride that you feel like is such a hassle and a dread, and maybe you experience the taxi drivers don't even say hello to you. But if you just knew a few phrases, you have no idea the experiences and memories you can make. You have no idea the light you will see in Georgian people's eyes when you actually put an effort into learning their language. I highly recommend to anyone who is here for more than just a little while, or even those who just want the best of that travel, is to put some effort into learning this language and do it in a smart way. I'm not saying this is a complete alternative to teachers. If you're serious about learning the language, instant live feedback is great. They can explain a lot of things to you. But what this app basically allows you to do is learn at your own time, learn at your own pace, and learn efficiently. If you compare the hours, if you compare the costs, it's just a win across the board. So I highly encourage you to check it out. The first lesson is free across both courses, and there's some flashcards you can try at first as well. If you can stick it out, the first beginner course is half an hour a day, and there's 50 lessons. And I promise you, if you do half an hour a day for 50 days, literally just half an hour, you will be conversational by the end. And the difference it will make for you is that your everyday situations will be more fun, first of all. Whether it's a taxi ride, going into a restaurant, bumping into people on the street, going on travels, whatever it might be, you'll be able to actually have conversations with them. It will solve practical things, but really what it will solve for is connection. And you'll definitely enjoy Georgia more. I'm sure most expats who've been here a while, at first you come here with the rose-tinted glasses and everything is so great. And then after a while, you start to notice the, downsides of Georgia. And really any country in the world has pros and cons. And the reason I'm here is because the pros far outweigh the cons. And I think that's what most people come to the conclusion of. And those cons just increase, and those pros just increase, and those cons decrease when you add in that secret ingredient, which is the language. The added benefit for Georgia, and this is an important personal motivation for me, is that I really like Georgia, and I want Georgia to remain Georgia in the best parts of it. And for that to happen, the language has to be preserved, because history, culture, traditions, identity is intricately tied to the language. And I believe that when we make the language more accessible in EasyGeorgian, we help achieve that goal. And I encourage you to join me and us on that journey. It is mainly my wife and I, but we have a team of Georgian teachers, voice actors, and developers who also help us. And we will be happy to support you as well. So take a look, check it out, join, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in there.